This is abandoned Kings Park Psych Center, which is said to be haunted. Actually, a couple of buildings. Yeah, not just one on site. It used to be state ran, now no longer. People claim that you could hear screaming from the background, children, former adults, patients. So this establishment had over 150 buildings. As we're going to cross the street, had about, I believe, 9,000 people. But, apparently it began to decline in the 1970s with state funding and things of that nature. Park officially closed in the center rather officially closed in 1996. A little bit more of this campus. Building had many floors. It has to be one of the main buildings. Dealt with 100 and something buildings on site. How can you make that claim, right? These buildings have been graffitied. There are street lamps here, but this could definitely be a spooky scenario at night. It's supposed to use as a park. Now I see people running. It's actually a ball field down off the woods as well. Do not enter. There it is, nice and visible. Here is another house here. Look how close you can get. That was close to the cat. Pretty cool. It's about as close as we could do to zoom. Inside one of these buildings. Drugs, not hugs. Get out alive. Jen loves Joe. Alright. Some more houses, more buildings rather. Quiet. Maybe even too quiet. Just a little yonder, you're able to see it. Is the farmhouse, the Wickham farmhouse, which was purchased by Joseph Wickham at the turn of the 17th century and remains in the family to this day. In 1854, the house was a site of gruesome axe murder, as James Wickham and his wife were killed with an axe by a former farmhand by the name of Nicholas Bain. Bain was soon caught and hanged, but you know, his story still haunts this area. In 1988, Anne and John Wickham woke to a dark figure supposedly standing over their bed in the middle of the night 134 years after the murder. They sealed that room supposedly and have not entered since. Some say you could still hear the footsteps of Nicholas Bain coming from the second floor of the house. And we begin this episode. I'm Brez. I am in Cachog, New York, Suffolk County, and we're going to take you along, tell you some stories of haunted places in and around New York. Join me. So this is still, we're in Kachog, and this is the Kachog old burial ground. Dates back to 1661. Been used as a cemetery for centuries, and people were saying that a lot of people feel a sudden, like a out of nowhere, a sudden chill while walking through the cemetery at night. And others reported hearing voices that would disappear after walking near their apparent source. Some also have seen shadow people waking from grave to grave. We'll walk through. Let's go. It's an old burying ground, Kachog. We're about 75, maybe about 100 miles outside of New York City. Well, guys, I am feeling like someone is watching me or looking over my shoulder. There's the general scope of the cemetery. It's maintained by the local residents here. Alright guys, let's take you over to the next spot. We are in driving along in Blue Point, Long Island, on Wilson Street here. Trying to pinpoint the location for you guys. Though I am not able to. It's a little bit of a hard thing here to do. The neighborhood has changed immensely, but we are trying to find the former location, and it could be this over here. What was just overgrown weeds now. Where we're looking for the former location of Reid's Ice Cream Corp. Now, what has happened here? Was an ice cream parlor that stood abandoned for a long period of time. And two instances happened, which people are saying that in this area of Blue Point, it's very haunted and gives a lot of people the haunting, and people still hear things, still see things. Going into the stop all the way. So Reid's Ice Cream was the site of two alleged deaths, and what people have since said that's caused that area to be haunted. According to one story, a young boy used to play in the abandoned factory in the 1970s, and one day the boy climbed too high up some equipment, lost his footing, plummeted to his death. People have claimed to still hear the boy playing on the property, and the demolition team is said to have walked off the job after doors would regularly open, close, and lock themselves. Another story during the 1950s, a young woman named Linda met up with a gentleman in the abandoned factory, and then a popular spot for couples seeking privacy. Accounts, all kind of get convoluted or change during this story, during this time. One version claiming the woman turned down the man's advances and was murdered as he set upon her in a fury. The other version claims that the new couple was being watched by a man with ill intent who murdered, the man and then killed Linda. People passing the property have seen a specter of a woman and heard her screaming and crying. So Blue Point continues to be very haunted till this day. Here we are, Smithtown, Long Island. Another very haunted place, and this is actually called Katie's. It's a very popular bar now, but in the late 19th century, the land on which Katie's stands belonged to a hospital. That hospital burned to the ground in 1909. In the 1920s, a newly constructed facility was put up there. It was said to operate as a speakeasy. And it was during the Prohibition era. And during that time, a man by the name of Charlie Klein worked there as a bartender and bootlegger before he eventually killed himself, goes the story. Now the spirits of those who perished there are said to still inhabit Hades. Guests have seen figures dressed in the late 19th century clothing. They wander the bar, and a figure of a woman has been seen walking about the bar, up and down the basement stairs. The women have reported toilet seats jumping open and making banging sound when no one else is in the bathroom. Well, that was spooky. And footsteps can be heard on the main bar floor from the basement when the building is otherwise unoccupied. Glasses have been known to go flying off the bar and the tables. You be the judge.